Hello everybody, it's me, Nawnii, and today we're going to be talking about art. Okay, not just art, we're going to be talking about referencing and heavily referencing, and whether or not I think personally that's a bad or good thing. The reason I decided that I'm going to be talking about this sparked because I was scrolling through Facebook looking for memes to share for my friends and family to look at later because that's my job, right? And I came across a post, or a beware as Facebook likes to call them, about an artist who allegedly was tracing or referencing something. And tracing, I get it. It's bad. Don't trace. That's a no-no. But when I saw that they were possibly only referencing something, I realized, this is stupid. Why is there a post about this? Who cares if they were referencing something? And not only that, but I'm gonna go ahead and pop up on the screen the picture that the artist in question referenced, and then the art itself. So these two pictures are nothing alike, as you can see, except for maybe the one in the middle and the pose, I guess. It's probably not even necessarily referenced. Like, it's just a really common pose, especially with Dutch angel dragons in general. So it's really dumb that this person would make an entire post dedicated to possibly calling out someone for referencing something that is so different than the reference material. There's no proof or anything. I don't know if this person asked the original artist or whatever. I don't know. I didn't really look into it. This isn't a drama about this person, obviously. Like, I don't care about this person in particular. I'm just saying that this is a ridiculous claim, and I would hate to see more and more claims like this popping up everywhere, calling out a bunch of artists for heavily referencing or minor referencing things like this. Because these two things don't look the same, and the fact that it went through somebody's mind that they could be the same at all really kind of blows my entire mind. I don't know. Is it just me? Please tell me that those things aren't similar, right? For the duration of this video, I will be referencing the Dutch Angel Dragon base, the one that the artist in the Facebook possibly was referencing, and I'm gonna try to reference it as close as possible, just to kind of prove a point. I don't know if that's petty of me or not, but whatever, we're gonna do it anyway. It's fine. So, in the art community, tracing is a big no-no, especially if you're profiting off of something like that. I know a few people that trace over models or people in real life, and they make their own piece out of that, and I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing at all, if you can manage that. I personally have tried this in the past just out of boredom, tracing my own pictures to see if I can get, like, poses correct, but it always looks really ugly when I do it, so honestly, props to the people that can manage. When it comes to tracing, you don't want to trace other people's art. Generally, I think that's bad. I know a lot of people come to me, and Nawnii, what if I do it on my own time? I don't show anyone, it's just for my own personal use. It's like, well, then keep that to yourself, honey, because if it's only for your own personal use, I don't know about it, they don't know about it, no one knows about it. So just keep it that way. Don't let anybody know about it. If you're just trying to practice or something, I can't fault you for that, and if you're not showing anybody and it's just for your own self, nobody's gonna know anyway, so I don't really see too much of an issue with it. The problem arises when you're posting it online, and when you're not only posting it, but also profiting off of it. There are some things that you're allowed to trace, like bases. I'll put up a few examples on the screen. Deviantart is chock full of bases, free for people to trace and use for their own personal art, and I think that's totally really cool. I used to be a base artist, a My Little Pony base artist, but a base artist nonetheless, and without that experience, I probably would never have gotten to where I am now. A lot of younger kids trace. It's just how it is. I traced when I was younger. It's just how it goes. The reason I traced when I was younger, it's a really funny story, is because my dad could draw, so I would ask him all the time, please draw me this, Dad, draw me this, so I can take it to school and show my friends how cool it was. And then he eventually got annoyed, and he was like, here, let me just teach you how to trace stuff. And then he taught me how to trace stuff on paper, and I was like, whoa, this is so cool. And like, I know that sounds really dumb, like, why did I have to be taught to trace? It seems pretty self-explanatory. But look, I'm not that creative, despite the field I'm mostly in. I'm not super clever when it comes to that kind of thing. But yeah, little kids trace all the time. Some of them even post it, especially more often now because the internet is so easily accessed by younger kids now. And I can't be mad at those people. Again, when the problem arises, it's when like grown people trace and try to profit off of it. And when they get called out, they deny it. That's when the problem arises, I think. But again, this video is not about tracing, so I'm not sure why I'm going on this tangent right now. I just am. Whenever artists ask me for advice, I'm not that great at art, so I don't really never know what to say. One of the things I always say is don't be afraid to use a reference. Whether that reference be a real thing or another piece of art, doesn't matter to me. You should just reference because it just helps a lot. Looking at other people's art just helps a lot generally. No matter how hard you reference, it's never gonna come out exactly the same as that other person as long as you're drawing it. So, like I said, as you can see, I'm referencing the picture in the background. The point I'm trying to make is no matter how hard I reference it, it's gonna be a little bit different. Not only that, but I would make it my own character in the end. You know, we would assume that most people would make it their own character in the end, unless you're just copying it, like, completely for some reason. I don't know why you would do that, but yeah. I don't think there's anything bad about heavily referencing anything, even other people's art. Some people might have it in the description of their pieces, like please don't reference or heavily reference in any way, shape, or form. And if that's the case, don't do it. That's just mean. If the artist is explicitly asking you not to, I wouldn't do it because that's just their wish. Can you do it anyway? Yeah, absolutely you could, but it's just rude at that point. I think it's all up to preference, really. Like, personally, I do not care, literally at all, if anybody references any of my work at all. Like, go for it. I don't care that much. I don't even care that much if people trace it, as long as they're not profiting off of it. That's not a pass, by the way. Please don't trace my artwork. It's kind of annoying, and you're gonna get attacked for it. Like, even if I'm not, like, telling people to attack you, they always do. Every time somebody traces my work, a bunch of people go in the comments and be like, stop tracing Nawnii. So don't trace. I'm just saying personally, I don't care that much generally because it doesn't bother me, but I'm kinda stupid, so, you know. Basically, I'm making this random video because this post really annoyed me and I don't want to see the art community going at throats for people heavily referencing things. I've seen it before and I'll see it again probably, but I think it's really dumb. You can reference anime screenshots, you can reference real people's art, anything. Just reference things, it's good for practice. I'm terrible at poses and I almost always reference something for a pose, whether it be a real person or not. Almost always reference something, because I'm incapable, okay? You can buy one of those little model guys or something and reference that. But basically the point I'm trying to make is there's nothing wrong at all with referencing other art. Feel free to do it. I think it's fine. It's good for practice. It's fine. I think it's fine. This could also be tied into whether or not art style theft is a thing, which it isn't. I don't know if you'd want me to make a new video about that. I think I've talked about it in the past. I've technically talked about this in the past, but, you know, I just felt like I needed to do something new. I've talked about referencing and tracing 2 other times, I do think, but they were a really long time ago, so I'm just gonna assume that they're invalid, and we're gonna stick to this video now. If you'd like me to talk about art style theft and how it's stupid, let me know. It would be a pretty similar explanation as this video is, but yeah. Anyways, so the speed paint in the background. I heavily referenced the same base from the artist in the example that I gave earlier, and I came up with this, the lines, like the first, they're on the screen, you can see. And then I took those lines and I re-lined them to fit my character, so it pretty much acted as a base, if anything, and then I redesigned my character, which has nothing to do with the video. But basically my point is, heavily referencing is okay. You probably wouldn't even be able to tell that I referenced this unless I told you to, or I told you otherwise. And I mean, obviously you know I told you otherwise, but you probably wouldn't be able to tell, and if anybody made that connection, it would be really weird because it's a really generic pose anyway. So I don't know, things like this kind of bother me. Anyways, I would like to give some, like, advice. So if you do heavily reference something and it's really obvious that you heavily reference something, all I can suggest to you is just give credit. Just say, I referenced blah blah blah, and have a little link. Just cite your sources. That's all you have to do, and then everybody can be happy. It's not as convoluted as people think. So yeah. Anyways, continue heavily referencing if that's something that you have to do to help yourself improve. There's nothing wrong with it. Don't ever feel bad for doing it. I would like to take a moment to thank my patrons. My $1 patrons: On Dreamy, Aurora Cat, Andrew Howard, Lollygrease, Red Chibi, Andara Bledden, Kitzilla, Blackwolf275, Don Fox, Liz Ramroop, Briar T, Starcy, McKenna the Furry, and Zamoni Wimp. I would also like to thank my $5 patrons: Jakey Boy Animations and Kiwi Pixel. I'd also like to give a big thanks to my $10 patrons: Mug of Atmosphere, Mostly Ghostiness, Very Fairy Gary, K998, Yummy Toe Fungus, The Girl Next Door, Blood Moon, Swedish Fruit, Lavender, The Best Bean, and Marissa Fontaine. I'd also like to thank my longest running patron, Turtle, and my $25 patron. Thank you a lot. And my $30 patron, Tekoki. Okay. Thank you guys so much for being patrons. I really appreciate it so much. I appreciate you guys. If you'd like to become a patron, you can do so by becoming a patron. That's down in the description. And I'll say your name in the end of a video. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this. I hope it was not super random. I hope you have a great day. And goodbye.